Greetings and welcome to my podcast, Why So Political? I'm your host, Neha Yadavalli, a high schooler from the United States. Regardless of where your political views may lie, I hope you enjoy this episode of Why So Political, where we will be delving into a series of important women. This episode will cover very sensitive issues pertaining to the Holocaust. Audience discretion is advised. In my first ever podcast, I spoke on the absolute terrors and atrocities of the Holocaust. Now, it's a very difficult episode to stomach, but I knew I had to dedicate an episode to this because there are so many people who are so undereducated when it comes to a subject as serious as this. It was undoubtedly one of the most appalling and grisly attacks on humanity. It truly highlighted the depths of destruction that hate brings, and there are no words that could ever begin to explain the horror that many people were subjugated to. If you haven't already heard that episode, I would encourage you to watch it prior to this. In history, there are many hidden figures that are too often overlooked. In this episode, I will be covering a woman by the name of Maria Agnese Tribbioli. There is no judgment if you are unaware of who this lady is. She isn't talked about much in history classes, at least in the United States. But then again, there are so many important women who are left out of our textbooks. Maria Agnese Tribbioli was born on April 20th in the year 1879. Her birthplace was Florence, Italy. Not much is known about her youth. However, her father passed away when she was only 11, leaving her family in a very unstable economic situation. Despite this hardship, receiving a Catholic education, Maria became a nun in 1901. She was now known as Sor Maria Agnese, a teacher at the San Jose patronage. She worked there until the year 1917, where she then left the patronage alongside a nun by the name of Sor Adriana Talai, and she founded the Pie Operai di San Giuseppe congregation, or the Pious Workers of St. Joseph congregation, which received official recognition 10 years later by her cousin and the bishop of the diocese, Monsignor Tribbioli. Now, during the Holocaust, Florence, Italy was home to Giacomo Meneghello dalla Costa and Father Cipriano Riccoti. These people dedicated themselves to the mission of rescuing persecuted Jews. Inspired by this goodwill, Maria Agnese took part in their mission, and she housed many Jews during the time, hiding them in the basement of her convent. She expected nothing from them, and her only goal was to keep them safe. Maria changed the lives of so many individuals by her thoughtful and selfless nature. In fact, so many people feel so incredibly indebted to this woman. Take the word of Jonathan Sacerdoti. His father was one of the many people in hiding. His father recalls the experiences in hiding with Maria Agnese Tribbioli and how she did not tell even the other sisters that the children in their care were Jews. According to the Catholic spirit, in one instance, Jonathan's father refused to make the sign of the cross. The Mother Superior brushed aside this obstinacy, saying the boy was traumatized after having been forced to leave his home. Jonathan finishes by stating, "My father's overriding memories of his 9 months in the orphanage were of hunger and cold, but also of the warmth of the nuns who protected him. He told us that warmth stayed with him all his life, and that, in fact, their actions," that they're referring to Maria Agnese and the other nuns, "were decidedly human, actively choosing to protect their fellow man at a time when evil and indifference prevailed. When faced with the question of what our duty is as citizens of the world, each of us can choose to make a difference." For the rest of her life, Maria made it her mission to keep the children she saved safe. She sadly passed away on February 27, 1965, and is buried in the Chapel of Bethany. She was a wonderful woman with a big heart, but she was also incredibly brave. It takes so much strength and courage to be able to defy a force as powerful and as hateful as that of the Nazis. But Maria Agnese Tribbioli stood by her values and morals, and she truly saved the lives of so many. She was recognized by the Yad Vashem as one of Italy's righteous among the nations. And according to the Wallenberg Foundation, on June 16th of 2009, she was recognized as righteous among the nations for her life-saving feats during the Holocaust. Furthermore, she was also proclaimed servant of God by the Catholic Church, a first step towards her possible canonization as saint. That concludes this episode of Why So Political. Thank you from the bottom of my heart for listening to my take and listening to the story of this amazing woman. If you like what you heard, I would highly encourage you to come back next week. A new episode drops every Monday at 8. Have a good one.